Hi YouTube, this is the Peaceful Prepper. Just about every video I've seen on emergency car kits assumes that you can store gear in your car permanently. And I certainly keep both convenience and emergency items permanently stored in my car. But recently I was driving a rental car and it struck me that I didn't have any of the things with me that I just assume were available in my car. And since I wasn't driving my car, I didn't even have the rescue me that I keep on the keychain with my car keys. So I decided to experiment and put together a prototype first draft kind of kit to see what's possible and would make sense in terms of a kit that you can bring with you into the car and out of the car easily. I rarely need to drive a rental car, so this isn't a kit that I'll keep intact. It doesn't need to be ready to go at a moment's notice, and the items that I put in it for this video I borrowed from other kits, so as soon as I've done the video, I'm taking it apart and putting the items back where they belong. But it's helped me think about what I would bring with me the next time I rent a car. There are several kinds of situations when someone might need a portable car kit that I can think of. I mentioned driving a rental car. Some people belong to a car share service like Zipcar rather than owning their own car. And if you're in a higher crime area, you may not want to keep anything in the car that might attract thieves, especially if you have a small car without a trunk. If I didn't want anything visible in my car, I'm limited to the glove compartment, a small center console, and under the front seats. As always, I like to have explicit general goals for any emergency kit I'm thinking about. And my general goals for my car kit are to take care of everyday maintenance for my car and for myself, to respond better to a breakdown or an accident, to be able to take shelter in my car for at least 24 hours if I need to, and to have some kind of get-home bag which would let me leave my car behind on foot and get home or get someplace else that's safe. But a kit that's really portable needs to be fairly small, so for this kit I thought it makes sense to focus just on the first two goals. It doesn't include any kind of get-home bag. For me, the most basic part of a get-home bag is having good walking shoes in the car that I can change into. And this isn't a kit that can fit shoes. And a basic part of sheltering in the car is to have something like a wool blanket and a generous supply of water that's also beyond the scope of, or the size of this kind of kit. So the priorities that I'm using with this experimental kit are, and this isn't in any particular order, communication and signaling, water, first aid, personal safety, and car knowledge and the tools to put the knowledge to use. But obviously in each category, they're just being addressed minimally. Any kind of bag would really work for this kit. This is just a bag that I picked up for $6. It's kind of flimsy, but I thought it would be a good one to play around with. And the bag you choose will just depend on personal preference and what the context is. Maybe it needs to be work appropriate, whatever kind of work that means. Or there are going to be children in the car, whatever it is. I like this bag because you can wear it over your shoulder to carry it to the car, but this strap is actually, it lifts up and it's a car seat organizer. So there are pockets here and a zip here. It would be even better if there were side pockets for water bottles, but this is just for me to play around with. These are just examples of things that I think would be useful that to cover some of the goals that I mentioned. So a map, some just garbage bags, an empty bottle of water or a full one. I like keeping food and water out of the kit so nothing needs to be changed regularly, and just pick those up for wherever you're going. I do that in my car too, except for real emergency water in the back. You know, a pair of work gloves, some duct tape. This is just a little hygiene packet, chapstick, wet ones, a little disposable toothbrush. You may be able to see through there. You could have a tampon. I have a menstrual pad in there just to demonstrate. Sunglasses, sunglasses, an N95 mask, an umbrella, a flashlight, and this one you can use in several ways. So since I'm not looking at having redundancy in this kit, it's a minimalist kit, and anything you have on your EDC might provide the redundancy. So this is an Energizer. I think it's called a 3-way flashlight. And again, I think this brand is fine. There are lots of other types with similar features. So it is a regular flashlight. It also is a lantern, and it has these so that if you need to get some light, you're changing a tire, something outside, you don't have to hold it, and this will tilt to give you the light where you want. So I thought as a multifunction flashlight for a car, something with these type of features would be helpful. A box, a little package of Kleenex. I always like to have just an extra hat. Even in the summer, sometimes evenings can get cold. A small first aid kit, and that should be as big or as little as you want and feel like you need. But again, this is just a minimalist kit for me, or in theory. I have what are they called? Workshop towels. They're sort of thicker than regular paper towels, but towels, and a microfiber towel. I have a life hammer, and you're probably familiar with these. But they can cut, it's a sort of larger version of the Rescue Me that I've talked about, although the Rescue Me is just a smaller version of this. But they have the little cutter that can slice through a seat belt, and these that you can use to open a window. I also threw this in, and this is something I had and have never used because I don't think it's a particularly good one, but for demonstration purposes I thought it was nice. This is the kind of thing that just goes on the visors above the window. So this, you could put whatever you have for a GPS or a phone or an MP3 player. It's got a pen, a pad of paper. I put an ICE card in case of emergency, which was the first video I did was about this, but you have your name, pertinent medical information, your emergency contacts, and if it's visible, emergency responders, at least in the US and many other countries, I believe this might have actually originated in the UK, know to look for ICE and that provides emergency information. Then it has a little coin purse and pockets. I haven't pulled this out particularly, but pockets for whatever you'd like that are behind. One of them you could just have some cash. It's not really obvious it's there. This is just a dollar bill to demonstrate. And this fit easily in there and gives you another organizer. These are, I think these are actually pretty neat and very compact, but again, any kind of signaling is a good idea to have in a car in case you've broken down, you're at the side of the road, you want to make sure that people don't hit you. And so these are, I have a couple of things. One, I have just little reflectors that you could put on your wrists, on a bag, on your legs, so that you're more visible. And these are just minuscule, but you can do any version of that you want. This is the sort of signaling. This is something that came in some kind of kit I have, that it's a yellow help sign. It's pretty bright, and you can put it in a window of your car, or even tie it, sort of roll it up and tie it to the antenna if say you're in snow or it's snowing, you want to make sure there's something high to be found. But there are 3 of these in here. It comes in this case. This particular brand is Wagon Tech. There are other brands that do similar things that have magnets so that they can be attached to the outside of a car. And they can also be hung for additional light. But I don't have the batteries in here. I have there are lots of reviews of these out there, but they have several different settings for different kinds of light, just make you visible on the road. This is the case that the Bolt Power external battery that I used to jump my car in a previous video came in and can be stored in. But I've made some adjustments. But I've taken out any of the specific cords that I wouldn't use, and I've added some other things. So this really is kind of a now a toolkit emergency power kit. So I just have some extra batteries in here. This is the Bolt Power external battery. Actually, this is the external battery. This can charge the external battery through 12 volt. I have a multi-tool and a gator grip, which, I'm going to say who has been doing videos on them, but I've been seeing them for years and never gotten them, but it will adjust itself to many sizes and shapes to be able to use as a socket. And I have a tire pressure gauge. I have a USB 12 volt adapter. And this came with the Bolt Power that can go into the adapter and has any of the attachments I would need for any, for a GPS, for a phone, for an MP3 player, and the jumper cables. So even though this feels pretty big for a minimal kit, but it has sort of key car emergency related items. As I mentioned, this kit is pretty minimalist. It's not designed to help you deal with any kind of emergency when you're out in your car. It's really designed for car emergencies. And so you may be wondering, well, wouldn't it be nice to have a few other things? So I have this little packet. I really tried to keep this small, but that have some basic stay warm. I have a whistle, a lighter, an emergency poncho, some water purification tablets, and a survival blanket, a heat sheet survival blanket. As I said, this is a first draft of a kit like this, and I just collected some general types of things that I thought would be useful. I'd love to know if you bring emergency car supplies when you rent a car, or use some kind of portable kit. Obviously, what's in the kit needs to be based on the context, what the person with the kit would actually use, etc. What do you think should be in a kit like this, or could be left out? Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Be safe, be happy.